Welcome to the Creative Ages channel. Today we shall be designing this health dashboard. Very simple, very basic, and nothing too serious. So let's get started. So let's go over the PRD. I have the PRD here and let's take a look at it. So the overview of this product is a web-based administrative platform designed to help super admins manage organizations, monitor user activity, and control platform-wide settings. Um, these are interesting, useful tips to pay attention to. A high-level system overview, organization management tools, user activity insight. But I'm going to focus on the objectives and the core features. So the objective of this platform, of this product, that is the web-based uh, administrative platform, is one, to monitor, enable admins to monitor platform health at a glance, to provide tools to manage organizations efficiently. Three, allow admins to search, filter, and take actions quickly. Four, ensure a simple, scalable interface for admin operations. uh, the target users are very essential to pay attention to their super admins. And what I'm concerning myself with in this project is the core features. The first is dashboard overview with metrics. So dashboard overview should display these metrics: total organizations, active users, suspended accounts. That's very important to take note of. Then another feature that is expected to be available is the search and filter features at organization, which is going to be a button. It says, the description says that entry point for onboarding new organizations. Then we have the trigger. So it's a button, right? It's a button. What is expected when the button is clicked is that it opens a form or modal or a page, then input organization details and a submit, also a submit button. So this is partly UI, partly technical, that is like development. Then fields needed. Hmm, maybe we will not touch this in this first video, but in the next video we'll do that. So, but let's just focus on the first reason why we are here. The fourth feature that is very important is we need a recently onboarded table to display lists of newly added organizations. So we can see the columns needed here. Um More information are listed here. Then another feature is the pagination, definitely to be at the bottom of the table. Here we have the sidebar, which is a very important part of a dashboard. You can't have a dashboard without a sidebar, without a navigation system. So that's what our sidebar are. And our sidebar is, and we can see the modules expected: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are very important to pay attention to. Every other thing, I believe, are technical requirements. Basically, these are the things that like this now system or support organization CRUD operations, which is acronym for create, read, update, and delete operations. So basically, these are all technically inclined requirements. What concerns us as UI designers are uh, the core features. So let's go to the UI now. I'm going to work with these color styles here. I'll go just pick some basic colors for what I'll be doing. So let me just do this. Primary, I'm going to select the most bold color there. That's the most dominant color. The secondary color. Then for the text, I would use a shade of these. I'm not doing all the what's it called, the plugin. method to in this video. I'll just go straight. Just want to design this quickly and let's do it together. Then for the text, I'll use this white. This is the dark state. This is the on state. This is like state of the text. Um, I would select a surface color. I would like to work with E6 or F6 F6. Let's see what that is like. Okay, that's fine. Uh, that should work. Actually, that should work. That should work. But let me see F1. F1. I think this is okay better now. Then for the stroke, I'll just go to my black and give it an opacity of 8. That should fit in perfectly for stroke. To set up the color styles for this project, we'll start by selecting the very first one, and on the property panel or the property bar here, come to the fill feature and click on this icon there to apply styles. So click on the plus icon there, and I'll call this primary, create style. You can write a description for it. Repeat the same thing for the second color. I'll call this secondary. You can write a description for it, that is the purpose of the color or what it will be used for. Take for instance now, and that's very very useful when you are working with teams, different teams. If we have a red color, you could describe it and let the devs know that, oh, this is for error. Then maybe the light orange color for error, green for success, like that, like that. Although those things will still be in your documentation, by the way. But if you need to describe it there. Then this, I'll call this because this is what I'll use for the text, dark text. So I'll call this text. That's a category. Then a subcategory will be dark, and I'll call this primary. That's because we'll be using different types of text, or different, yeah, we'll be using text in different context and different ways. So we'll see that when we get to that point. Then for the light text, uh I'm going to say text also still under the text category, but this will not be light, and I'll say primary also, like that. Now this would be the surface of the pages. So call this, I'll just call this surface, like that. My This is going to be stroke. So I want to say my stroke. I'll call it stroke. I just like to name things simple, very very simple. Uh, we wouldn't need this, but since we are going to be working with different shades of text, so let me do 40. That's too light. 65 is a very good option. Anything from 58 to 65 is good. um Text dark, no, it's even light self actually. Secondary, yep, like that. And maybe, if do we need a placeholder? Yes, we need a placeholder color, and that's the part would work with the search component. So let's do 50 here. That should serve. We can definitely modify things as we go on if we notice issues with contrast and accessibility. So I would say light one more time, and I'll call this secondary. Now take for instance, now this is where I can now see to be used for place orders. um Place orders, like that. With these styles created, you can click anywhere on your canvas on your board, and you would see all your styles displayed here, right? You can see primary, secondary, surface, stroke. In the text category, we have the dark theme. So I'll call this dark theme. I'll call this light theme, like that, and we are good to go. So the next thing to do is to go back to the page, PRD page, checkout. Where do we start from? Apparently, let's start by drawing out the page itself. So I'll come to the frame here. I'll select desktop, like that. Okay, let me select wireframe first, so we can create a wireframe. Um, just a rough how do I describe it now? Just something a breakdown of the parts we'll be working with very quickly. So we have the sidebar, which would be here, like this. Let's assume that's the sidebar. Then we have the top area that would be placed around here, something like 76 in height or 72. Depends on you or frame. It depends on you what you want. Let's assume that is it. And then we have one more area, which is the main area where we shall be carrying out majority of the designs we want to work on, right? Something like that. So you can see different parts of the screen already. Now that's just a basic breakdown of the different parts uh, of the element we'll be working with. On the sidebar, of course, we are going to have the logo here. Let me give that a color. Then I would have the container that houses all the navigation, something like this. Yes, something like that. Here, within here, we would have something like details of the user, and then here we are going to have the search bar, just uh basic layout, just basic layout, nothing special about it, just to show where things will be placed. Then let's go back to the PRD. We have dashboard, that's the main screen. We have metrics, we need to showcase metrics, total organizations, active users, suspended accounts. I'm going to copy this and show it in a basically they just a layout, basic layout. So let's assume this is the card for active organizations, this is the card for suspended, and this is the card for what's the last one, total organization. So three categories, just like that. Then we are going to have our table. Our table will be somewhere like something like this, and then we can have the rows of each of the table, like that, something like this, like that. And then we definitely have the pagination in here also, and that can look like that, that can just look like that. And yes, just like that. And this is a basic layout. This is the wireframe. It's going to guide our decision making process. So with all of this fleshed out, let's start the design of the dashboard, which is the very first feature that is required. To get started with the dashboard, I'll copy the information that is needed. which can also be termed as data needed, although this is just an information at the moment. Um, let's paste that here. I'll name these and say admin overview. First, I'm going to change the color of the background to take the surface just like that, and we have started. Now pick your frame tool and draw uh, a uh, a shape. Just draw any cover any area with it, and that would be the sidebar. So I will name this sidebar like that. Then for the top area, I would select a frame again. Uh, Draw it like that. Let it take the. There's something I did not do. So this is I'm currently using the text um color style, but I wouldn't want to use that. So I'm going to create a text style. What I did was detach it here, detach the style here. Then I'll create this. I would say surface on. We have different terminologies that you can use to work. Depends on you. Okay, let me say this is primary. Is it? I'm just looking for the perfect naming convention to work with. Let me say secondary. This is not the perfect naming convention. Just this is just what works for me. So the reason why I'm changing this from text to the new one is peradventure I have to make adjustments to the text style. It will not affect the containers. It won't affect the containers that are holding elements together. So this is on a different category of its own now. Then we start with the logo. So I'm going back to the design system. I'll make turn this into a component now. So just reduce it a little bit. I'll call this logo or brand. That's more applicable. So come to your assets. You would see in the design system, you can see brand. Bring it inside here, and with this, I would increase the size like that. Now I'm also going to create side menus, which that's the navigation assets. Create click on text, and let's start with let's say sidebar menu. For a start, I'll be working with DM Sans. So I've created my text styles already. Auto lay this out. To auto lay this out, just click on Shift A on your keyboard and you are good to go. This is fine. I'm okay with the height because I would like to work with the 4-point grid system throughout this design. So I'm okay with the height now. Then I'll call this side or navigation. Navigation. There are going to be three. Okay, let me just work with two major yeah, three categories or three parts of the site. But we would have the that state now. We'll have the active state, would have the over state, and would have the default state. So let's assume for now that this is the default stage. So just use a forward stroke on your keyboard and say default let's say state equal to default. I'm using this because, or I'm using this style because I'm going to turn this into a component. Now that we have written we've written the name like this, we have a good name convention. If I create more variants of this now, I can now say that this is okay. I was supposed to use a comma, actually, not a not a not a forward stroke. Yes, like that. All right. Let's rename all of these then. This would be over property equal to, and that adjusts it for us. So property is nav, state is let's add a new state. This is default. And then one more, which would be active, active state. I'm going to let this take different colors as a background. So for the default will take the surface primary, and the text would also have to change to the dark theme. The over state, I would use the, let's just work with this for now temporarily. And then for the side, the active would work with this, of course, the primary color style. Yes, that works. And then a corner radius of 7 would be fine. Therefore, if I bring any of this out, I'm calling this navigation. If I bring any of this, I can easily switch from one state to another. We have started uh, the design of this interface. So this would be called overview. We have about four, I think, required pages. Let's check them. They were listed somewhere here. Yeah, so we have overview, organizations, privileges, and settings. So copy that from there and then make this copy in. This is organization, privileges, subscriptions, and finally settings. Yes, like that. Now it's time to turn this into an auto layout so that we can have a very neat sidebar. To turn this into an auto layout, all you have to do is select it and come to your property panel here, and you toggle this on, or you can use shift A on your keyboard. Now that's the auto layout for you, and I'll drag it downward like that. Then I'm going to put all of the side menu uh variant into a container of their own so that we can have a tidied sidebar. Fill this, and the gap spacing between them, I would give them 6, just like that. Now there's a gap here. I'm going to make this line gap to be 40. That's fine for me. The top padding would be about 40 also. Then the bottom padding should be about 48, which is what we have here. You can see it 48, just like that. Then I'm selecting all of these sidebar elements and I'm filling the container with them. Then align them to the left. We are making progress. Finally, let's check what our side paddings are, the left and right padding. I'm going to give it a padding of 16, just like that, and we are good to go. We are making progress, actually, good progress. Then one of these has to be in the active state mode. So this should be take the active state, and we are very, very okay. The next area we have to focus on is the top area, which um I'm going to create the element that will be there now. Let's call this the username, the user's description. Let's say John Maxwell Philip, like that. And we are the role is going to be super admin, like that. The text color would be secondary, just like that, and this is fine. I would like to auto lay this out at this point. I'll call this user. This will be the top area. It's just very, very good to name your containers, name your work, your layers properly. It's very, very good. I'll call this sidebar color or sidebar top column, should in case we want to add anything underneath it, like maybe want to make another duplicate of it. We are making good progress actually, and the gap spacing here, I'll make it to be maybe two, just like that, or zero. Zero works fine. Now I have some icons that I have created already. I'm going to just bring this chevron arrow down here and auto lay it out again. Give it a color like that. I'm going to reduce the gap in space between them. And finally, I have my design system here already where I have quite a number of avatars that I have created. So I'll just pick one of them. I'm just going to pick one of them, just a random selection, and paste inside here. That should be 48. Yes. So with that, we are doing well. Next would be to create the search feature. Don't forget that we have a search feature that is part of the requirements. Go back to the PRD, it should be on this page. It says that allow admins to quickly locate organizations. So what are we searching for? Search by these parameters. So we come here and I'll just paste them here. Yes, like that. Just like that. Um, all of them have to be on the same line. So let's do this. Name, category, city. I wouldn't work with this if applicable. It's not necessary there. Yes, that's very, very okay. Now that we have this, I'm going to turn this into a field. So just auto lay it out once again. By now, you know the default shortcut to work with. Then I'm going to give it a feel of surface like that. I would make this text like this. So you can see that I'm working with the tertiary text style. This should be tertiary actually, not secondary, like that. Now with these, I would adjust the corner radius to be like that. Padding should be about 18 for me. I'm okay with that. And I would search here for a search icon. At, I'm searching for assets search actually. Yes, like that. And it takes this color style too. Just like that, we are making good progress. Finally, I will auto lay this out the top area because it's just a frame at the moment. You can see the symbol here. It's a frame, but once I auto lay it out, it changes. Now it's an auto layout, and then I can extend it back here and adjust the alignment to be like that. This is very good, and I'm going to adjust the top and bottom padding to fit what I would like. I'm okay with this. This is okay for me. So this has brought us to the successful design of two parts of the interface, the sidebar and the top area. It is now time to focus on the main content, that is this area we are looking at. And as you can see, it's taking the shape of what we have here, from the wireframe here to the design, the high fidelity here. So let's now go on to design the main area. To get started with the main area, we need a title. Let's call this, let's bring this here, and we'll give this the title. I'm working with the text size of 36. That's fine. There's something I noticed now as I clicked on this. This we're not giving styles. Okay, it's just this alone. So let's give it the text style light. That's fine. Now overview. But do not forget that we have some metrics we want to display. So I'll bring that here. Um, with this, let's say this is for total organizations. Copy this, duplicate this two more times. This should be active users, and this should be suspended accounts, just like that. Metrics means numbers, it means figures, it means data. So let's do 0 as the default data for now. I'm going to auto lay this out because these are two different elements. So shift A, give it a few color of secondary, uh padding of 20 is okay for both sides for now, and corner radius of 22. I'll just set this to about, yeah, like that. And then of course they have to, we can extend it. I'm going to be using a grid system of I would like to use 20 for now. Yes, like that. And this will be, the count will be 12. That's fine. And as you can see, the sidebar is almost on the grid, but let's just adjust it one more. And this is how I like to use my grid. The space from here to here is a 20 gap, 20 spacing, yeah, 20 gap or margin. Sorry, gutter rather. This is the gutter. So I can now make adjustment as I deem it fit. I'm bringing this. So I'll turn this into a component because I'm going to be using it two more times, right? So let's give it proper spacing. Let's say 28 like that, and I'm turning it to a component. So I will rename it and say metrics card, just like that, and we are good to go. So now I can make a duplicate of it two more times. Yes, like that. Don't be bothered about the excess space. We will tidy things up later on. Now this is the metrics. We've just designed the metrics part. Now it says metrics should update in real time or near real time. Use visual distinctions, color coding for status, and also total organizations. Let's do this. Let's use this. Apparently, yes, it has to affect it because we are working with a component. We made this change to the component. But this is bad accessibility. Let me see if we can tweak things a little bit. Let's do 40. Yeah, not bad. That's not bad. Though we might eventually just settle for a black text for now. If I can choose to go with this, yes, this secondary text, yes, that's much more better. This text is looking small. Let me increase it a little bit to 48. That's more better. And then, of course, I can now reduce the line gap between them to 20 instead of 28 that it was before. Then we have active users, so I'll cut this, paste it in here, cut this also and paste it in here. Since we are asked to distinguish things visually with color and etc., we can just work with red here. I did not have a red color style before, so I can just do this. And then for, okay, here, that's better. For the active users, I would like to work with the green color, so I'm just going to change it on my color scale like that while I maintain the same uh numbering for the hues, saturation, and lightness. So I'm just adjusting the color scale that way, and this is looking like what we have. You can see that it's taking the form of the wireframe we have initially. The next thing, we are done with the first part, actually the 4.1. We are done with that. Going back to the PRD now, we are done with this. We are done with the search. The next thing is to consider or think of how we are going to add a button to the platform. uh Usually, because of we have different pages that we would like to work with, let me show you. We have overview, we have organization, we have privileges, subscriptions, settings. So the normal way I would have positioned and thought of positioning the button, the add organization button, would have been inside the organization screen, right? So that when you navigate to organizations, you can see the data that the organizations are displaying, and then you can have a button to add organization. It's more suitable there, but we are not designing organization in this particular video, so I will just find a way to add organization here. So I would work with this area here. I would say add organization. That way I'll turn this into a button, uh, which would take the fill color of primary, and the text will be changed to this. The left and right padding I would adjust to 18, and I can we are using, okay, I can adjust the corner radius to, let's say, 10. It's not consistent though, because I'm using a full rounded corner radius style here, and it shouldn't be so, but I think we can manage, and we can just excuse that for now. Display the grid. I usually like the grid here to be 40 percent, like 40 actually. So, but for now we are good. Let's just maintain what we have there. Now we have just worked on this 4.3 feature that says trigger button. The next thing would be to go to the next feature, which is recently onboarded table. And with that, I'll copy the data needed for that. Um, like this. This is what I need at the moment, and come back to this place. So I would adjust, I mean, make a copy of this and call this recently onboarded. The text style to be used will be 22 to have a good design uh made on this. Then we need tables. There are two parts, major parts of a table, two major parts. We have the table head and we have the table body. The table head and the table body. So for that, I'm going to start by identifying the things that are needed. We need the numbering system or the ID of the organization. We need the name of the organization. We need a column for the join date, location, and action, which will start like this. Let me just copy this from here and I'll auto lay this out. That's one, that's the first step. So I'll call this column just like that. Then I'll make a duplicate. I don't want to confuse us, so I'll just make a duplicate and then I would auto lay these two out now. So this will be the row. So I can call this, but the actually it's going to be the table head. So let's just name it properly, table head. That's out of the way. Now I'll fill each of them with a color. I would use the surface color for now. Yes, and I would fill the outer container. Now that's a container that contains the two columns. I'll fill it up with this like that. Now we can make duplicate of this because we need about four of them, five. So we have two already. Let's make three more and we are good to go. So this is where we say SN or ID like that. This is name of organization. This is join date. This is location, and this is action. Now, it's my way of designing table, right? I just like to adjust it first to the end of the screen, and then I would fill everything just like that. Now I can now make adjustments to what I want to do because this the first column, which is the column for the company or organization ID, it does not have to be big. So I give it a fixed width of, let's say, 80. That's small, so I can go to 96. Like I said, I work with the 4 point grid system. This would I will leave this to fill actually, and I would come to action. It's not going to take up much space, so I'll give it 96 also. At the location also won't take up much space, so I can do 180. Just something that works actually, just something that works. The vertical gap would be for now 12, just like that. We'll close things up. I just needed to show all of this for now. Then the join date also does not have to be that big. So let's do 200 also. And finally, you can now see that we have a good space for the name like that. That is fine. Padding left and right, I'll do 12. And just like that, I have created the table head. I'm working with the 44 currently, but I think I would like to work with something like this exactly, about 52 height for good spacing. Just good spacing between 52 and 56 works for me. I'm done with the table head. The next thing to focus on will now be the table body. So I'll make a duplicate of this and then I can turn the table head to a component while I make changes to this and say this is a table row where this will contain the data, the main data actually of the text of the table, as we can choose to call it. I'll make this secondary like that, and we are very okay with that. To get This has now been turned to a component, and then I can create multiple variants of these just like that. Um, Now I would automate all of these into one container, and I'll say table body like that, just like that. And then I can now add this to it. Maybe I can include it inside here. It just depends on the style I would like to work with. And this was having a the light thing before, but I'll give it the this so that by the time I'm about to do something here, um I would give this a padding of 10 left and right, 10 top and bottom, and then fill it with the surface like this. And this is very, very good. So let this fill the container so you have good spacing system, just like that. Then my corner radius for this would be about 20, between 18 and 20, 16 and 20, which of course now shows that we have to adjust the corner radius for this, and that will just be top left corner radius, and top right corner radius. And to do that, I'll just do like this, 12, 12, like that. And that looks very, 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 very neat. And then finally I can bring this in here like that, and we have gotten ourselves a table to work with. This is not the end, but we've come a significant way. So I can now say, let's assume that this is the um, ID number for this organization, like that. Let's say the name of the organization is Health. Health is all of these are changing because I'm using a component. So everything, whatever I do to the component, would affect the instances of the component. Join date would be about maybe 4th April 2026, and location will probably be uh California. And then for the action, I have some icons already, so I'll just look for the more icon there, and that works for me, and I can delete the text while this is adjusted appropriately or accordingly, just like that. Yeah, I think the previous one is fine. This is what we have. So let me now tidy things up so that the table can look neater. Yes, that's good. um I would give these all together. Yes, that's better. Very, very better. Yeah, I think we have a neat table now. um this is the table, right? I have the header here. I would like to autolay this table header and table header into a container of their own, so that I can create proper space here. So I'll just give this a 20. Yes, and that's fine. Then at the top I can do a 16, just like that. And that is very, very, very okay for me. Yeah, just tweak things around until you get the right or the perfect uh design you are intending to produce. We need pagination, and that is how we have been able to create the table. We've undone the columns, we've created actions, even though we've not stated how this will be created. And we can create this when we want to prototype. Actually, I don't think I want to do that right now. Now the thing to focus on is the pagination. So let's copy these and take it back to our design here. It says that control navigation across large data sets, features, page numbers, next, previous, control, display count, showing 7 of 50 data. So this isn't something that is hard at all. Let's just get right into it once and for all. I'm going to bring it in here. No, let me just design it outside so I do not confuse you. I would select a smaller text size now. Um, just like that. Then we have control. So I'll work with the left and right arrow icons for now. Just like that. Align everything to center and middle. Then it says page numbers, so I can come make a duplicate of this here, auto lay it out. That's too much. I'm going to say that I would say that the height should be fixed. So I'm going to do something like a 28 and a 28 here also. That's very, very okay. Uh, make more copies of it like that. Let this be 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Then I can auto lay all of this out just like that, align it to the center. Then this also another auto layout, and that serves the purpose of the pagination. So I can now begin to add my style into it, maybe something like this. Yes. um if I bring this in here now, because it has to be part of the table, I can make it to fill the container and then evenly space them out like that, just like that, and that's fine. Then of course this would take a lighter color like that. Then for this, let's assume this is page 1. Let's make the fill color that, and the text color to be this, just like that. While yeah, and then the corner radius for all of them should be something like 4 or 5. Okay, 5 is good. This is just tidying things up. Actually, there's no much of activity going in on here. uh, just tidying things up. I can give it a stroke now of this, and that's fine. Actually, it's not going to be active because it's inactive. It's not, it has not been clicked, so those things have to be factored in. 0 0.7, yes, just like that. This cannot also be active. Then we have to, this is the only one that is active, and just like that we have gotten ourselves a pagination. If you use this more in more designs across your project, then you can turn it into a component and just call it pagination like that. I'll call this the right row, right? And I'll call all of these, I'll rename them as pages. Control R or Command R, I'll just say pages, just like that. And I have properly renamed everything inside this pagination. Finally, I would like to tidy things up. Uh, and I'll do that by first um auto laying these out together. All of this will be auto laid out together. And then I would give it a left and right padding of 20, top and bottom padding of 20. And I'll fill it up with the secondary surface, just like that. So you can see a difference in all of this. And with that, I would adjust the stroke of this card, just like that. And as you can see, you can now see that they are differentiated. Then the corner radius of the component of the container, I would give it 20 also. Then the title and the button, I'm going to auto lay them out, which after doing, I will now auto lay all of them out together. That's how I just prefer to make these designs. it makes the work neater at the end of the day. It makes the work neater. So finally, I can now adjust the padding for all of them from one side to the other. This will be 20 on the left hand side, on the right will be 40, like that. At the top here, I'm going to do a 28, and at the bottom, I'm going to do a 40. And with this, I can fill the container up like that, and we are good to go. And this is how we have both been able to design this interface with your presence and with my knowledge from this end of the world. So if there is anything that you feel like, oh, we did not do properly, please kindly drop it in the comment section. I would be very glad to uh, attend to it. And I also like to learn one or two things from you. How do you design your dashboard? What did you learn from here? And what can we do better? There's one more thing that I have not added from the PRD that we are leaving out, and that is the filter. We have filter here. So let's just quickly do that with the few time we have left. I'll just make a copy of a text here, just any text. I'll call it filter. I'll bring in the arrow, the chevron down arrow, like that. Auto lay it out, give it the horizontal flow, give it a padding of 10 and 11, and fill it up and give it a stroke with a corner radius of, I think, 6 is going to be fine, while the vertical spacing should be about 7. That's just how I like it. And then finally auto later with the title, let it be at the middle, fill the container, and let the spacing be auto, and we are good. So I can call this title and rename this to be filter. That is it, and this is table body. So guys, this is how we have been able to design the dashboard the for the health prove administrative product. um I would like to create more of these videos, so maybe the next one would be to create how the organization dashboard screen will be displayed. Let me know what you think about this video. Give us a like, give and subscribe to our channel for more.